Hello, welcome to my studio Instagram live. Sorry, my hair is kind of a mess. Just gonna fix it. Okay, I'm gonna hang out a little bit before people come and join in. Hopefully, everybody is doing well today. Oh, it is so hot in LA. Thank you for joining. People that are joining in right now, hello. Wanted to share with you some updates on the studio, but also I like to pop in once in a while to connect with everybody and answer any questions that people might have, or if there's anything that you guys want to see in particular in the studio. I like to just kind of share what's happening. I'm going to wait a little bit longer until people join in, but thank you for coming. It's like almost noontime here in LA, and very hot, just really, really hot today. So I wanted to thank everybody for taking the time to reply to my recent post, and also in Instagram stories I was kind of sharing that I wanted some thoughts on what you want to see in the newsletter and what you guys want to read about. So it's helped me a lot, actually, your replies. And if you haven't seen the post yet, check out my most recent. Hi! Now I get to see you. But it's the most recent post, and I'm asking everybody who has been signed up on my newsletter, or if you haven't, please feel free to sign up. I would love to have you. I send it out once a month, and includes a letter, personally written letter, about what's happening and catching my attention in the world, and kind of more spiritual aspects. And then it also includes happenings that are related to the studio, so whether it's a gallery opening or interviews or anything like that. So if anything, you stay informed on all the things happening once a month. So, but I wanted to, I was thinking about newsletters, and thank you for all the hearts, by the way. I appreciate it very much. So I was thinking a little bit more about the newsletter, and how when I receive newsletters in my inbox, we're very limited on time. All of us, we're busy. We have so many things catching our attention, and so I was thinking about the newsletter and what I can include in it so that everybody that's signed up for it is excited to get it once a month, and it's something that is of value, and is something that you really. Hi from Moscow. Hello. Thank you for joining. But it's something that you actually, look forward to, and so that's kind of why I was asking that question as to what you would like to see. So if you have time, please feel free to fill out underneath the first post what you would like to see in the newsletter. I would really love to hear your feedback, and all the feedback I have so far, I'm going to take it into consideration and somehow weave it into the newsletter, so that, oh, St. Petersburg, wow, hello. But yeah, so I can weave it into the newsletter so that it's more, I don't know, I feel like it's more relevant to everybody that's reading it. Also, one other thing is I have a show coming up, or I'm part of a group show. Give me 1 second, I'm going to read this. You have inspired me to start sharing my writing in response to what you're saying. I always love to hear about your process. Oh, thank you, Ashley. I recognize you. I'm so glad you're sharing your work too. I think that's amazing. I just actually, before I talk about the whole show thing, I just, my wonderful intern Janice, who's an amazing illustrator. If you are interested in animal illustrations, check her out. Janice Lau Art is her Instagram handle. She's really amazing, and but anyway, she was just here, and we were talking about this whole idea of sharing our work, and how to find our tribe, or our the people that I think appreciate our work. And I think that there are a few artists out there, creative people, whatever your genre is out there, that have like a mass following, or that you are able to connect with the masses. But I feel like not all artists are like that, or meant to be like that, and I think that's fine too. Some artists have a really strong niche market, and I think that's also amazing. You just have to find the right people that connect with your work, and and that's, you know, that's what it's about, just kind of finding that community, I think, that connects with you. So, but yeah, Ashley, I'm really happy to hear that. I have to check out some of your writing. I'm sure it's amazing. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so I'm part of a group show this coming end of this month. I'll be posting about it in a little bit. I can't really say too much about it, but it's in LA, and I'm pretty excited about being a part of it. So hopefully, if you are in LA, you can come to the show opening. I'd love to meet you. And what else was I going to share today? Oh, if any of you are watching this and you can't, you want to stay on, but you can't based on, you know, time zone difference or whatever, I post all of my Instagram live sessions onto my YouTube channel, so you can check them out at a later time if you like as well. But what's great if you are on live right now is you can pop a question here. That's why it's kind of sideways. Sorry about the orientation, but pop your question down at the bottom, comment. I'm more than happy to answer any questions you might have or any comments you want to share with the group. More than happy to. So I'll be reading, since on YouTube you can't read the little chats, I'm going to read the questions out loud so that people can follow along. But if you have any questions, feel free to write them right there in the comment section, or right there. I'm more than happy to answer them. Okay, so if there's no questions at the moment, I wanted to show you some of the stuff I'm working on right now in the studio. Thank you for the wave. And again, if you have any questions, let me know, and I'm more than happy to answer them. Okay, so let me turn the camera around real quick. So right now, this is kind of a piece that I've been working on for the past couple days. So it's part of the, hi Daria, it's part of this project I'm working on called Iro wo Kiku. It's a pretty long-term project, and it consists of listening to sounds, listening to colors. And so taking what I'm listening to as far as sounds are concerned and bringing them into visual life, whether it is paintings or some other way of expressing sounds in a visual format. And it's just something that I've always been interested in. Can you guys see like the shiny shimmer? I don't know if I can get it to shimmer. But yeah, it's really pretty, some of the shimmer here. But so I'm working on this project right now, and it's yeah, again, something I've been really interested in, this idea of listening to or connecting the dots between what we hear and what we see. Because a lot of times we think of music as something oratory, but for me, when I listen to sounds, I see colors and shapes and things like that. So it's trying to bridge that gap and seeing how other people might experience it as well. Maybe if they look at colors, some people are able to hear sounds, or maybe it conjures up certain melodies in their heads, or thanks, or it helps to bring to life like a memory or something. So I'm always interested in this idea of connecting things that seemingly maybe are not connected. First, you know, in the beginning, like we might not associate the two, but in actuality, you know, all of us humans, the way that we're wired is, that's why when sometimes we hear a song, it brings back these visuals of that memory of what was happening when we were listening to that song. And so I love that. And oh, here's a question. Have you any plans to visit Europe? Maybe my beloved Berlin. Oh, I would love to. Oh, music visuals for you too. That's great. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people. A musician, this is something I totally experienced. Yes, I want to kind of build that conversation about music and art and all the different creative outlets we have, because it's all interconnected. You know, I think that we're all visual, oral, like it's just all different ways of expressing the same thing. Thank you for all the questions, by the way. I will go through one by one and answer them. I appreciate it very much. So the question about Berlin, I'm going to be in Europe next month, but not Berlin. I really would love to go. If there is an opportunity that takes me there, I would love to go. I actually have one of my paintings. It's not in Berlin. It's in Germany, Heidelberg, at I can't pronounce the gallery name. So bad, but it's in my links, and I do have one painting there, and I'll have to post the link later. Sorry, my mind is like not quite connecting the dots right now. I'll have it in the links. But yeah, I would love to visit if there's any opportunity for someone to take me to Berlin, show some work in Berlin, do a workshop in Berlin. That'd be fun. Do a talk in Berlin. That'd be great. But yeah, hopefully soon. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'm going to go through questions. If you have any, please feel free to ask away. Let's see. So SKDK94 asks, hi Satsuki, hello. I have a question. How do you determine the price of an artwork? Oh, well, after I did some extensive searching on the internet, for me, it's a combination of intuition and actual number crunching. And it depends on the medium. So for example, my watercolor paintings versus my oil paintings are priced differently. And it's per square inch in my case. So let's say like a 10 by 12, 10 inches by 12 inch painting. I calculate how much each square inch is and then multiply that by the size of the painting. But whatever number comes out, I intuitively try to feel it out a little bit. Like, okay, is that number a little bit too high, too low? How do I feel about it? And the way that I determine is, do I feel that the number or the price that the piece is going for is fair? Meaning, do I feel that the work and time, effort that went into it, if it were to sell and someone were to purchase it, meaning that they have chosen to spend their hard-earned money to purchase it, that it would be an even exchange. If I feel that the number is right, then that's kind of like the price that I choose to put it at. And also, it kind of depends on inventory as well. If it's selling really fast, then I have to put the price a little bit higher, or you're just okay with it selling out and you kind of just have people waiting until you come out with new work. So it's a little bit of a combination of those three things, and there's really no hard fast rule, I think, about pricing. But I will say this, is that it's good to kind of look around and see what other people who you feel are at kind of like that same career level are selling their pieces for, and I think that's a good way to gauge whether or not you're selling at a point where it's just a little bit too much or too little. I think that sometimes it's kind of like a community, how do I describe this? A community effort when it comes to pricing, because when it comes down to, if you price your paintings and work really low compared to someone who, like, let's say is part of your same community and they price their paintings at a certain price, if you're lower, it's almost as if it brings all of the community's pricing down. And so it's a little bit of a disservice to you, because maybe your paintings are worth more, or maybe oh, good. Are we there? Are we back? Okay, we're back. Sorry. Um, so it's good to price it fairly. I think that's what it comes down to. And I would say start out with square inches and see how that feels for you. If you feel that, um, you know, per certain percent or certain cent per square inches, times however size, I think is a good way to start. Hopefully that answers your question. Okay, next question is the Siren Company. Hello, thank you for your question. What have you been listening to while doing this painting? Oh, the one that I just showed you. It's a combination of some classical pieces and some like more instrumental type of work. There is oh my gosh, today I'm so bad with names. Something I really need to work on. Haruka Nakamura, there we go, is one composer that I've been listening to for that piece a lot. And also, what is the name of the group? It's this record label called Kitchen Label out of Singapore. There's this group there called Aspidish. I have to figure out the title for that. But so a more instrumental, more just allows me to kind of flow, and that's the type of music I've been listening to. Usually very mellow and very melodic. Hopefully that answers your question. Okay, next question. Bria Solak writes, favorite budget watercolor paper for practice? Ooh. I'll show you. I think that might be faster. Hold on. So the one that I tend to use for practice is this one, the Strathmore Wind Power Watercolor Cold Press. I think that this one is pretty good for practicing because the texture of it I think is nice and workable. I wouldn't say it's super budget. I mean, with it being recycled, I think that's a little bit more expensive than their other type, but I really like this one a lot, and I do practice on this. So yeah, I tend to use that, or I do have, where did it go? Let me see here. You guys can kind of take a look at my little shelving here while I look for it. Where's the other piece of paper? Do I not have it? Please excuse me while I look for it. Here's the one that's a little bit more price. I think it's a little cheaper than this one, the wind power one, but I've tried this one too. It's okay. I think I still like the wind power one better though. But where's the other one I use? These are some sketchbooks. I don't know if you guys want to see that. Sketch. No, I don't painted that. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. Here it is. I found it. You guys can see my bookshelf while I look for this. So this isn't budget, but it's cheaper than the actual size painting that I do. But these are the Fabriano Acrylic watercolor. So these are more expensive to sketch on. But what I like to do sometimes is, because it's the actual paper that I use or close to it, it gives me a better idea of how the colors are going to turn out. So if I'm doing a serious study or a serious sketch, I would choose this. So I have some of this available, but if it's really just practice, then I would say, yeah, the Strathmore is my choice of budget practice paper. Hopefully that answers your question. Thank you very much for asking. Okay, let's see if there's any other questions. Thank you all for joining. Wow, so many people joining. Thank you. Bria Solak asks, do you prefer cold press or hot press? I prefer cold press for sure, just because of the type of work that I like to do. I've tried hot press and it doesn't quite give me the results that I'm wanting, or not the results, but the look. So I definitely prefer cold press, and not even rough press. I think that's a little bit too rich, like too much ripples in it. So cold press is like this perfect medium for me. Hopefully that answered your question. Okay. So let's see. So SKDK94 writes, I want to become an artist so bad, but I don't know what to draw or create. I feel like everything has been done already. I couldn't come up with an original style that is mine. How did you find yours? How do I find mine? Oh. I think I feel the same way too, actually. I think every artist kind of goes through this question, and where did I read it? I think a while ago I read something that kind of changed my perspective on this, is that whatever we decide to do at this point, someone has probably already done it, if not has already done it in some way, shape, or form. So it's almost impossible to do something completely original, but that doesn't mean that within that we can't find our own voice. And I believe that comes from continuing to, how do you say this in English? Mukiao. I know what it is in Japanese. Mukiao with the painting. Like continuing to bring yourself to the painting, continuing to work with it, and you approach it. You continue to have these blocks where it's like not turning out right, or you don't think it looks right, or it looks like you copy somebody, or whatever it may be. But you continue to go with that and work with it. And sometimes you create really ugly things that you're like, oh my gosh, I would never ever show this to anybody. And you keep pushing, and through that process, you might find little moments of, oh, I really like that, or like, oh, you know what, that's something I want to, continue to kind of develop. And I think that's why I've learned that sketching is important. Although I don't sketch too much, to be honest. I just kind of like to go with it. But sketching, or kind of even writing down things in journals, things that kind of catch your eye, or things that, thoughts, ideas, anything that will help to trigger. And what I would like to say though is that maybe your creative output is not what you think it is. So, for example, you might be imagining. Okay, well, let me give my example. So, I always thought that my output, my creative expression, was music. And it's because I had played piano since I was 3, and it just felt very natural to me, like a natural progression. Not that music felt natural, but natural progression to go into music. And I did, but it still didn't feel quite right. And I felt like you were kind of describing this urge to create. Like I knew that I'm a creator, like I know that I'm a creator, but how? Where is that disconnect happening? So I tried different things like clothing design, and I looked into interior design and photography, and so many different ways of creating. And painting was like not at all ever on my radar. Honestly, I've tried ceramics, I've tried graphic design, so many different things, um and I found that painting was just painting was just so, I don't know, it really hit home for me, and it was just so surprising. And writing has been also, like writing poetry and verses, prose, has also been kind of a surprise for me, because I've never thought of writing, but it just comes out naturally. So what I would say is, give yourself the grace and the space to be able to explore different kinds of creation, because you never know what it could be. Like you might be thinking in your mind it's this, but creation comes from your heart, and it comes from like a very special like soul place. And so that might be a completely different thing than what your mind is telling you what you think it is. So I would say, yeah, try adventuring into new things, things that you didn't expect, and you might be surprised that your way of expression is different from what you think. Thanks for your question. Anybody else that has questions, feel free to ask. I'll be more than happy to answer them. Just kind of scrolling through. Hi, Jerry. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you all for joining. Please excuse my sideways here. Okay, so, am I pronouncing this right? Robina? Robina? I think that's right. Thank you for your question. Okay, so have a nice time in Heidelberg. I lived there, oh wow, 20 years ago. Please visit the castle. I wish I could be there to see your work. Oh, thank you so much. I wish I could be in Heidelberg too, but I'm not going to be there in person. Just my painting. So, but I wish I could go. I know, I've heard it's really lovely. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Next time I go though, or when I do go, I'll have to check out that castle that you're mentioning. That sounds amazing. Okay. So question from Bria. Solak, so many questions, but I would just love to pick your brain. Of course. Do you like your Escoda Perla? What is your favorite size? Ooh. Let me show you my little Escoda Perla collection here. I do love it. It's one of my favorite watercolor painting brushes. I don't get paid for endorsing them, so this is purely because I love it. This is my Escoda Perla 22, and I think I use this the most for larger paintings, although lately I've been doing more detailed work like that, so it's changing a little bit. I like the 22. I think this is another size I like, 18. 18 Escoda. So this one, I bought a second one because this one's starting to kind of fray a little bit. But the point, it's really, I mean, not only aesthetically beautiful, but it's the point stays really well. It's one of my favorite watercolor brushes to use. Here's another one, Escoda 20. I haven't used this one yet, as you can tell, it's still new. I recently got it because I wanted to try it out. And I have this little guy here. So as you can tell, yes, this is kind of like my preferred watercolor brush to use when I'm painting watercolors. Yep, can you see that? 14. So these are some of the sizes that I have that I use. Let me see this one. Skoda 16. This one's okay. I don't use this shape as much in watercolor painting. And then the other brush that I do like using is this one, silver. I don't use it too often, but when I need to get a lot of water and just kind of get things flowing, this is like my go-to brush. So I really love this guy a lot. Oh, let me see. Did I mention this one? This is another one I use. So I have to get a new one. It's starting to kind of fall apart here, but I use this guy a lot too, Escoda 18. So I would say my size preference 18 and 22 maybe for Escoda Perla, but I have different sizes as well, just depending on what I'm feeling at the moment. But yeah, hopefully that helps. Here's my new little fun one that I've been playing with today. It's like the Blick series made in Japan Hake. I love it. It's so nice and soft. It's like super soft. But yeah, I've been using it for this painting here. It's just been really fun to play with. But hopefully that helps. Yes, Escoda. Maybe they should like, I should be like their, what's the word? Not campaign girl. The person who is like their, you know how certain athletes get endorsements? Maybe Perla should endorse me because I use so much of their brushes. I talk about it all the time. But yeah, I recommend it. If you are looking for something that has a lot of precision, but also gives you a lot of different variety in the brush, definitely check him out. Ambassador, I know! I know. If anybody knows Perla, let them know. I'll be happy to be their watercolor brush ambassador. I don't think they're going to watch this. Oh, thank you for the hearts. Yeah, if anybody knows, let them know. I'm totally open for it. I need some brushes. Thank you for your question. Okay, let's see if there's any other questions. Nope, no other questions. Okay, so the other, some people have been asking about me changing mediums recently, and let me show you this painting actually that I'm working on right now. It's an oil painting. I don't know if you can, oh, it's so hard with this lighting. It's really hard to see the little details, but lately I've really been exploring or getting into oil paintings, which have been a whole different experience, and I love it. And some people have been asking why I'm switching mediums, and I'm not really switching. It's just that I'm starting to become more attracted to other ways of, again, other ways of expression. And so oils have been kind of like the new segue into new realms, but I still love watercolor. As you can tell, I'm still working on it. So just another medium to kind of have fun and play with and get excited about. And if you are looking for oil colors, oil paints that are non-toxic, because I know a lot of oil paints tend to be toxic, and I had a hard time working with acrylics actually for that reason. It's just something in the acrylics was giving me a really bad headache, and so I was getting really sad about not being able to find a medium that works for me. And then I found these water-soluble oils, and they've been working really well. I haven't felt sick from them. So if you're very sensitive to chemicals, like I am, and you're having kind of a hard time finding a medium that works for you, I would say check out these water-soluble oil paints. There's different kinds. I use the Holbein kind, but I think Winsor and Newton makes them, and there's just a few. But I hope it does catch on because it's really great. And you know, you don't have to work with like a lot of chemicals, and you can wash them with water. After you take off most of the paint, you can kind of clean them off. So it's very similar, or more similar to watercolor painting, which I love. So check it out if you're looking for something. Oh, I'll show you one. Let me kind of show you my little stash here. So this is the paint that I've been using for oil. Dual Aqua Oil by Holbein. They're really good. I like this a lot. But yeah, check them out if you're looking for another medium, because I've scoured the internet and some people like them and some people don't. I think it's just preference, but I really like them, so yes. Okay, next question. Andy Sky, would love to hear about your recent trip to Japan. How has it impacted your art? Oh, sure. So I was in Japan for 3 weeks in middle of May through end of June, and I've never had the opportunity to visit other parts of Japan because my family lives there, My dad's side is in Fukuoka, and my mom's side is in Kyoto. So every time we go, we're seeing family, which is great. But I realize I've never had an opportunity to kind of explore Japan, and so for this trip, we decided we would go visit other parts of Japan, and so we stayed in Kyoto, and we did see some family there. It's also one of my favorite cities in Japan, so we visited temples, and I particularly love Ryoanji, which is the temple with the Zen garden, the rock Zen garden. I love it there, and their incense there is magical. I bought like 3 boxes because last time I went, I bought one, and when I meditated, it was just spectacular. So I had to get more stash in case I don't know the next time I'll be able to go. So I got that. So if you're ever in Kyoto and you visit Ryoanji, definitely check out their incense. It's in a red box, and it's just so good. Highly recommend it. And then the other temple that we visited out of many that I really resonated with this time was called Tenryuji, and it's close to the bamboo forest in Kyoto, and I would recommend going early in the morning because it gets very, very crowded quickly. Around like I think by 10 a.m. it's just crowded as crazy. Not peaceful, but if you go in the morning, it's very peaceful, and oh man, there's just something about that place. It was so beautiful, and you can really the garden there is just beautiful. So if you're really into scenery and the temple and kind of just that whole atmosphere, Tenryuji is the place to go to. What else? Oh, so after we were in Kyoto, we went up to Takayama, which is called part of like the what do they call it? Kita Alps in Japanese, so it's like the northern Alps of Japan. It's in the mountainous region, and it's near, if anybody's familiar with Kanazawa, it's near Kanazawa. But you're kind of stuck really in the middle of the mountains, the city, and it's beautiful. And we found out that historically a lot of the craftsmen from Takayama actually were sent to Kyoto to help build while they were building the old capital. That they learned a lot of their craftsmanship from there and brought it to Takayama. So Takayama is known for a lot of their woodcraft, so they make really beautiful furniture. I think they had a furniture exhibition going on there too, but they have a lot of just like nice wood crafts. And the interesting thing was with Takayama, it was one of the places in Japan that I found a lot of gluten-free food. Surprisingly, Japan was so hard as far as food is concerned, gluten-free food or like allergen-free food. It's getting better, but if you have any allergies to food, definitely do your research before you go, because it's hard, definitely hard. And so I had to buy like my own gluten-free soy sauce and like take it around with me. But so Takayama, because they have a very strong history of rice production, they have a lot of gluten-free foods that are rice-based, so like breads and stuff like that. So that was really great. And then there's a wonderful restaurant we found that caters to like vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, different diets, and so it's called Heianraku, run by this lovely husband and wife. But I went there for like 3 nights. The whole 3 nights we're there, I ate dinner there, and it was just so good. But yeah, so we went to Takayama 3 days, explored surrounding areas, and then went to Mount Fuji for a few days, and then Tokyo and came back. But I think the biggest thing that happened for this trip that has kind of affected my creative work is that I realized that a lot of people don't know that, doing creative work is very physically intense. I think people think like, oh, you're making art and it's so fun and it's just, fa la la, and it is, it's great. I love it. All parts of it I love, but it's very physically demanding, and even for me, I get tired because you're doing a lot of like mental work, physical work, spiritual work. It's just a lot of things happening. But oops, sorry. This trip, I think, kind of helped to show me that kind of my limits, like how far I can push physically, doing something that I love, and being able to really kind of take different inspirations and different things that are kind of happening around me and like infusing them into the work how can I bring more of that into it, I think was part of the inspiration behind the trip. And I think it's a little bit difficult to explain what I was feeling, but I hope it'll show up in my work, moving in a new direction. I think also the other thing is that when we are vulnerable and open ourselves up to people, or when we are able to, how do I say, like express ourselves in our natural way, that people really resonate with it. And I think that's something I've always understood, but being on a trip and just kind of being like in these places where we don't really know anybody, but you're meeting people, and people are so nice and warm and genuine. It kind of makes you think about how I can apply that into the work that I do, or into the way that I present myself to people, like, you know, people who decide to be on the journey with me. Like, how can I be that kind of connection, and being authentic. And if I can't meet people in person, then through Instagram Live or through my paintings, like, how can that connection be made? So I think those are the two things that, amongst many other things, but I feel that was the big takeaways from the trip to Japan. Thanks for asking. I'm glad I was able to share. Okay, next question. Sorry, I'm kind of scrolling through. Thank you for all your questions, by the way. I really appreciate it. Okay, so next question is from Lubis. I hope I pronounced that right. Can you tell about your favorite techniques you use in watercolor painting, please? Techniques. I don't know if I would call it a technique, but my favorite part about the watercolor painting process, I think, is this synergy that happens between water, which is very lucid and transparent and has no real color or any properties to it on its own. And when you start to add the color into it in different ways. So for example, some of the techniques I love is you let the water sit on the paper and then you're infusing it with paint. Or you can paint first and then layer the water on top. Just so many ways. And I think that what I love is what makes watercolor, so unique, is that this element of water is what creates these different landscapes and strokes and happenings almost, and you really can't control it. It just almost has to like have a life of its own. And I love that you're able to let go and be free with it. So I would say that's probably my favorite aspect of watercolor, is seeing that happen. And then what's even more fun is once it dries, it becomes a lot of times a completely different effect. And so throughout the whole process, you get to kind of experience, I don't know if it's this, I don't have a child, but I was thinking that if I had children, I wonder if it's something similar where, you have this first iteration or first version, or like, the child is like an infant, no colors, no nothing, it's just water, pure, clear. And then as it grows older and it starts to take in more of its environment, the people around them, then their personality starts to get colored. I mean, every soul has its base, but as the soul lives their life, it starts to get colored with all these beautiful experiences, and so it starts to change. And then as time progresses, it might morph into different colors, or it might stay the same or whatnot. And then as the child grows into adulthood, it starts to really take on its true shape and form. And I think of that as, the watercolor. The water is starting to dry and evaporate, and you're left with kind of the vibrant colors. So I really do love that cycle. And I kind of think of it as, being able to enjoy that whole process of painting. Hopefully that answered your question. Okay, next question. SKDK94, thank you for your questions. Can you show your oil painting at full scale really quick? Would love to see. Sure. Please excuse the, let me move my chair. It's a little bit shimmery, and so it's kind of hard to share the whole thing, but I don't know, can you see it? That's the whole painting. It's pretty large, but yeah, hopefully you can see it. It's So the sound that I was associating with this painting was very layered with vocals and just kind of many sounds. So it was just, but at the same time, it felt very crisp and clean and um, I don't know, reminded me of like very summery, shimmery. So that's the type of colors that I was seeing in the painting. I don't know if you can see it. hopefully you liked, hopefully you liked that. I'm still kind of working on it. We'll see when I'm finished with it. uh, okay, let's see if there's any questions. 黒髪真っ黒く。これから日本で個展を開く予定はありますか? Oh, okay. So the question in Japanese, and I will say it in Japanese and English, is do I have any plans on doing any shows in Japan? それで個展なんですけど、日本では今のとこは、何も予定してないんですけど、そういう機会がありましたら、ぜひまた日本で個展したいと思ってます。日本本当に自分にとってはすごい大切な場所で、常にどうやってこう日本とまた世界とつなげていけるか常に思っている課題なので、できたらまた日本で展示したいと思ってます。その時はもし興味ありましたらぜひ来てください。お待ちしてます。I just said to her that I don't have any plans of doing any shows at the moment in Japan, but I'm always interested in the intersection of Japan because it's a very important place to me, and and international or the world. Like, how can we have this inter-dialogue? And so, if the opportunity arises, again, I would love to show work there. Okay, next question, if there is any. Oh, no more questions. Okay, so thank you again so much for joining today's Instagram Live. I know it's always spontaneous for me. I just kind of hop on whenever I feel like it, so no schedule really. But again, if you have any questions or, oh, and if you look at my most recent post on Instagram, if you have any suggestions on what you would like to read on my newsletter, let me know. I really would love to hear your thoughts. So I can make the newsletter as interesting and intriguing as possible for you. Oh, sorry, one more question before I go. Ravinia, is there a piece of your artwork you would never sell? Yes, I have a few actually that are permanent collection. And it's usually paintings that are kind of a turning point for me as far as style or some kind of idea or something that sparks a new direction. Those paintings I tend to keep. One I sold because at that time I didn't think it was a turning point, and in hindsight it was, and I should have kept it. But now moving forward, yeah, anything where it's a painting that I feel like it's connected like that, I will keep it. Thanks for your question. Okay, so thank you again so very much for your time and all your support. I always appreciate each and every one of you that decide to come on the journey with me. I've been hermiting in the studio, and so I've been very quiet as far as how much I share, but I want to come on Instagram Live or whenever I can to connect with everybody. If you want to, oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. But yeah, if anybody wants to watch this again after the 24 hours, I always upload all of my Instagram lives to my YouTube channel. And if you go to YouTube, type in Satsuki Shibuya, you'll find it there. Also, there's a link under my account, Instagram account. If you scroll all the way down, you'll see a YouTube sign. And so if you click on that, it'll take you directly to the site. So you can find everything there, all my past Instagram live sessions. Otherwise, have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day wherever you are. If you're sleeping, good night. And if you're waking up, good morning. I'm going to be continuing to work in the studio and hopefully be able to hop on again soon and connect with all of you. I love spending time with everybody, so thank you very much. Okay, sending you good energy as always. May you be happy and healthy and full of life, and may all your wishes and dreams come to fruition that are meant for your life path. May you be filled with peace and harmony, and may your visions be crisp and clear so that you know your next steps for bringing things to life. Thank you again. See you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.